What's going on? It's the Wise. Welcome back to Vader's Lair. We have some exciting news to talk about today. A Vanity Fair article was released just 10 days before the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. And oh man, is it quite the article. It's quite the long one, so buckle up. We have so much stuff to get into within this article and within Star Wars lately. Can't wait to do this with you guys. It's been a while since we did some big interesting news like this, let alone some Star Wars news on the channel in general. So it's good to be back. Let's go. Welcome back, guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Definitely have some fun news to talk about with you guys today, and if it gets a little talkative at times here, or I start messing up my words, that's because this article is actually pretty dang long. I'm gonna do my best to cover all of it for you guys though, because there is a whole bunch of details on pretty much everything live action Star Wars that you can think of. So let's pull out the article, let's talk about it a little bit. I'm sure you guys have already heard some of your favorite content creators talk about it already. Heck, Star Wars Santa and Meg did a great job covering it earlier. I think Jason did too, I'm not really sure. But pretty much everybody in the community I've seen has already covered a bit. I mean, there's so much to get into. I mean, so without further ado, let's get into the article. Alright, so of course it is titled Star Wars The Rebellion Will Be Televised. And then we get a really cool cover of the main characters of the shows that are going to be coming out within the next probably 2 years. Maybe with a few exceptions, which we'll get into here in the article. But really cool picture. It was cool that they got all of these actors together for kind of a photo shoot for Vanity Fair. It's an impressive article. Let's get it going. Where'd my chat go? Hey, yeah, look at that cover, right? For real though. It says the rebellion will be televised inside the master plan for a fillet of new shows. Oh, a fleet. Oh, I got the food on the mind. Filet sounds delicious though, and that's what we're getting into with this article. Some delicious new Star Wars. The cover is dope though, and I love that little byline there. Inside the master plan for a fleet of new shows. That's fantastic. So an exclusive look at the master plan for Obi-Wan Kenobi with Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen, Andor with Diego Luna, Ahsoka with Rosario Dawson, and a fleet of new shows. Let's dive into the article here. A fillet of new shows, indeed. It's good to see everybody in the chat, by the way. I see you guys. Talented Mr. Griffin, Tim, Darth Maximus, Don Clutterman. The talented I said the talented Mr. Griffin twice because you're just that talented, my guy. But good to see all you guys here. OG, of course. Much love to everybody in the chat. Star Wars plan, you say? No, they just make everything up as they go, for the most part. But I mean, that's how all plans form. That's the thing people maybe don't understand. You got to think of up something at some point for there to be a plan. Whatever. Let's get into the article. So it says Diego Luna couldn't trust the driver. He didn't think he could trust anybody. And hadn't he read something about an epidemic of eavesdroppers hacking phones? That was just my paranoia, the actor says now. Now connected to reality, or not connected to reality. yeah, I'm sure you get pretty paranoid if you're working on Star Wars, you know. Still, he pressed his phone so tightly to his ear that it made his face hot. As a voice from 1,000 miles away told him secrets from another galaxy, the car was stuck in traffic on the top tier of a double-decker highway in Mexico City. I was speaking in code words because I wasn't trying to give up too much in the car, said Luna. The words he was avoiding most were, of course, Star and Wars. Because if he said that, it's a dead giveaway of what he's talking about on the phone. And yeah, Diego Luna is freaking hilarious, right? So it says Luna hadn't played the dauntless rebel spy Cassian Andor since 2016 in the Rogue One film, and now on the other end of the phone was Tony Gilroy, who had punched up the movie's script for reshoots. Gilroy, whose credits include writing the first 4 Bourne trilogy. Oh dang, I didn't know he was the dude that made the the Bourne movies. That's pretty cool. So he made the first 4 Bourne thrillers and was the writer and director of Michael Clayton. And wait. Oh, okay. See, I'm telling you, this is a long article. I'm sorry if I messed up. Here we go though. It says so of course, and writing and directing, Michael Clayton was developing a series that would explore Andor's backstory, revealing what drew him into the Galactic Rebellion and how he evolved from a self-serving nihilist into a selfless martyr. Luna's call with Gilroy, the first time that he had a full plan for the Andor story, happened more than 3 years ago. He said that one thing he remembered from being part of it since day one is how little you can share of what happens, said the actor. He said, I have kids, man. It's painful for them, and it is for me too. I'm sure, especially because like his kids are probably Star Wars fans from him being in the shows too, and they probably want to know some of the details, right? At least I would. George Lucas himself had attempted and abandoned a live-action series called Underworld before he sold Lucasfilm. Did I just skip a part? No, I didn't. All right, but before we get too far into this, these pictures are freaking dope, man. Almost did one of these as the thumbnail, but pretty dope. Says in the new Obi-Wan Kenobi show, the Lord of the Dark Side himself, old mentor, setting in the fateful confrontation in 1977 Star Wars. Reva the Inquisitor, Moses Ingram co-stars. So we get, of course, Darth Vader, Reva, Obi-Wan in that one picture. Really cool. And then we get Mon Mothma and Andor. And it seems as though Mon Mothma is going to be a key character in the Andor series, which kind of makes a lot of sense with her being one of the key parts of the rebellion, if not sort of the leader of the rebellion. In fact, she kind of becomes like the, I don't want to say chancellor, but like sort of like a chancellor figure. I don't know if it was still called the chancellor at that time, but she becomes like the chancellor figure post Palpatine. So she's definitely a very important figure in Star Wars and during the time of the Andor show. So I'm excited to see how her character is involved. And of course, Genevieve O'Reilly is going to be playing the Galactic Senator, secretly leading up a uprising against the Galactic Empire. So that should be really cool. The Andor show is slept on, for sure. Hey, Caleb Richardson, it's good to see you, my guy. Queen Virgo, good to see you in the chat. And Star Wars Obsession, of course, my guy. It's good to see y'all. Drop them spice. Do it. Alright, so to continue the article, it talks about how George Lucas himself had attempted and abandoned a live-action Star Wars series called Underworld before he sold Lucasfilm to the Walt Disney Company in 2012. Scripts were written and test footage was shot, but the level of quality he was looking for proved to be too expensive for a TV budget. Then, in 2017, Lucasfilm was tasked with trying it again, this time making not one series, but a whole fleet to bolster its parent company's streaming ambitions, Disney+. And Disney Plus would need the firepower of many Star Wars shows to compete and rival against titans like Netflix and Amazon. The Mandalorian, as we know now, became a global phenomenon, which only raised expectations. This winter, the Book of Boba Fett delivered a redemption story for a nearly four decades after the title character first appeared and had his demise in Return of the Jedi. So he first appeared in Empire and then had his demise in Return. But now with 130 million subscribers waiting, Disney has upped the demands to 3 separate Star Wars shows within a year. That's exciting. So for sure, we know that these 3 are going to be within a year of each other, starting with Obi-Wan Kenobi in just 10 days. For this story, Lucasfilm has lifted the secrecy surrounding its TV universe and how it formed as universes do, under immense pressure. And then there's a little photo shoot with Pedro, Ewan, and Rosario that we can watch in a little bit here too. That's really fun, really cool. First up is Ewan McGregor's return to his role as, and here we go, Star Wars Obsession. It's a little tidbit. I promise you, it's not that much information. First up is Ewan McGregor's return to his role as a weary Jedi Master in exile. Obi-Wan Kenobi debuts May 27th, tracking the character 10 years into his time on the desert world of Tatooine, where he serves as a distant guardian to young Luke Skywalker and is hunted by dark side Inquisitors, one being named Reva. And of course, she's being played by the Queen Gambit's Moses Ingram, which I think she's going to do a fantastic job. We've already seen them doing some press tour for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show in London and whatnot. I think she's going to do fantastic, and I can't wait to see Moses Ingram as the Reva character. To continue, though, it says Luna's spy saga Andor hits screens later this summer. Season 3 of The Mandalorian reunites Pedro Pascal, helmeted gunslinger, with the little green ward. It's funny that they put it that way. You know who he is. Grogu drops in late 2022 or early 2023. So we get a confirmation here that the show is for sure coming either late 2022 or early 2023, as fans were already speculating. And then, of course, it goes on to say next year Rosario Dawson will lead the series Ahsoka, playing the live-action version of a fan-favorite Force wielder from the animated side of Star Wars, who was once an apprentice to Anakin Skywalker. Slightly further off is the Acolyte, with a tale set about a century before the era of the Skywalkers. So again, this article is really getting into the nitty-gritty of all the live-action Star Wars, and that's why it's so exciting and there's so much in it. So to continue on, it's a bountiful time to be a Star Wars obsessive. You could say that again. You could definitely say that again. To say the least, though. Mcgregor, who wrestled with the Joining the Galaxy in the late 90s and wrestled again with Whether to Return, says the gig has saturated his life. My partner Mary is doing a Star Wars series with Rosario, and she's about to start, he says. So there we get a confirmation from Ewan McGregor himself that Mary Elizabeth Winstead is going to be in the Ahsoka show, which is super exciting, and I loved his comments here. He says Lucasfilm hadn't previously... so it goes on, though, that they haven't confirmed this, and then he said that our little boy has been born into this massive Star Wars family. And of course his son was born this last summer, but it says he will either embrace it or really go the other way. I'm not sure. Maybe he'll end up being a Trekkie, and that was just hilarious to me. Yeah, Ewan with his humor there. On that day in mid-2019, when Luna was recruited for Andor, the actor remembers looking out of the car window at the rooftops of adjacent buildings, visualizing the tale about resistance-minded spies and the near-death escapes. He was especially glad that Gilroy's proposal included details that resonated personally. Luna describes Andor as a refugee story, with desperate people fleeing the Empire at the full force of its power. It's the journey of a migrant, he said. The feeling of having to move is beyond the story. Very profoundly and very strong. That shapes you as a person. It defines you in many ways and what you're willing to do. Gilroy breathes deep and reveals a little bit more about Andor, saying, "This guy gave his life for the galaxy, right? I mean, he concisely sober. Jeez, I'm struggling with this. Apparently something I'm not, according to this word. Soberly, without vanity or recognition, sacrificed himself. Who does that?" he asked. That's what this first season is about. It's about him being really revolutionary and cynical and lost. Oh, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, and kind of a mess. Basically, Andor's a mess at this point, just like Sheev is reading this article. The story begins with the destruction of Andor's birth world, then follows him into adulthood, when he realizes he can't run forever. His adopted home will become the base of our first season, and we will watch that place become radicalized, Gilroy says. I wonder if maybe based on that sentence right there, it's possible Saw Gerrera could interact with Andor at some point, as he is a key figure similarly to Mon Mothma. Almost the two of them are two sides of the same coin in terms of the rebellion. Speaking of Trek, I have a second franchise connection. My grandmother was a friend of Scott. That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. First season, says Tim. Yes, first season. So I will say, we already kind of knew this. I don't know if it was ever confirmed, per se, by Lucasfilm. But multiple times, Gilroy, the showrunner, says first season. He refers to it as the first season. And we actually already have kind of rumors that the second season is going to be shooting at the end of this year. And at one point, there was kind of rumors that they could have split the first season into 2 seasons, or it originally was 2 seasons, and they can join it into 1. Who really knows what the heck happened with Andor in the process of creating it? But it does seem as though the second season is confirmed here, or at least seemingly so, right? And then we can kind of speculate that it's going to shoot at the end of the year, and there might even be a 3rd season for the Andor show. So to continue on, though, again, he says that's what this first season is about. It's about him really being that sentence that I couldn't read. So we'll skip that because I couldn't read that sentence. His adopted home will become... Okay, where were we? Then we see another planet that's completely taken apart in a colonial kind of way. The Empire is expanding rapidly. They're wiping out anybody who's in their way. By journey's end, Andor's path will be to block theirs. It says the show also focuses on the enigmatic rebel leader Mon Mothma. This article, man, I can't read big words apparently. Played by Genevieve O'Reilly, who portrayed her as a young senator in Revenge of the Sith. That's pretty cool that they're bringing her back from Revenge of the Sith. It says then reprised the role in Rogue One. I didn't even know she did it for Rogue One too. That's pretty cool. So Mothma, then played by Carolyn Blackiston. I think I said that right. Was the priestess-like figure in the 1983's Return of the Jedi, who outlines weakness in the new Death Star, gravely intoning it? I don't even know what the heck is going on. Intoning? Many Bothans died to bring us this information, she said. Back in that movie. And I remember that. I was always like, who are the Bothans? And Andor, her story will run parallel to the title character, whom we will eventually become one of her key agents. Interesting. I didn't even know that Andor is one of her key agents. Maybe that's in Rogue One and I just haven't seen that movie enough. But eventually he's going to become one of her key agents. And then Gilroy said it is a huge orchestral Dickensian ensemble cast. What is going on with this article, man? I swear to God. I heard that Andor was shorted from a planned 5-season run to 3 seasons. That's why season 1 is set 5 years before Rogue One, says Caleb Richardson. Definitely could be the case. I've heard that too through the kind of trades. You know what I mean? And I think that is originally what happened. I think originally they were going to do 6-episode seasons. And then they filmed season 1 and season 2, I think possibly. And turned it into a 12-episode season and realized that they can make the show 3 seasons instead of 5 kind of thing. Not 100% sure. That's just kind of the vibe I get from what I've heard. Oh, okay. Caleb Richardson says, LOL, I'm pretty sure her scenes were cut from Revenge of the Sith. She's not in the theatrical release, only the deleted scenes on DVD. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I felt like I remember seeing her in one scene, but I guess that was probably a deleted one. I don't know. Not sure. They have to give us Ahsoka cast at Celebration, said Tim. Bro, dude, they definitely should do that. I think they might. And in a way, this article is really a prep for what we'll get at Celebration, right? So to continue on with this article, it says Luna remembers the conversation in the car as the moment he was all in. At the end, Gilroy said to me, "You want to take the risk with me, man? It's you and I from the beginning to end," says the actor. And it was like you'd been recruited to join a rebel force. I was like, yes, of course, man. Yeah. Then the reality set in. What have I done? Like Anakin, you know what I mean? This will be happening in London. My life is in Mexico. Holy crap. What have I done? What happened to my audio right now? I just I can only hear through one ear. Did I just blow out my... Oh, okay. It's the theme that binds all these new shows together, the article says. Devotion. What's unique about Star Wars is that we're not one story, basically, said the Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy. George was always dealing with episodes. Ironically, he was serializing his storyline. He was influenced by Flash Gordon and cliffhangers on Saturdays at movie theaters. All of that informed us of the DNA that Star Wars is, which is why I think it's just organic that we made the transition into television. That transition was not an obvious pivot for the empire built on movies. When she took over Lucasfilm in 2012, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy had her primary goal as just rejuvenating the Star Wars franchise with a new era of films. After a trilogy of prequels that underwhelmed many fans, few producers were better poised to do that than, of course, her. You know what I mean? Like, Kathleen Kennedy is one of the best producers ever, regardless of how you feel about her. Sorry to tell you. Just the facts. What's unique? So it goes on to say, you know, she did things ranging from E.T. to Back to the Future, Sixth Sense, blah, blah, blah. Of course, like I said, Kathleen Kennedy, one of the best producers of all time. By the end of 2015, Han, Leia, and Luke were back in the big screen in J.J. Abrams' The Force Awakens, which introduced the desert scavenger, Rey, the redemption-seeking stormtrooper Finn, the X-Wing hotshot Poe Dameron, and the brooding Sith wannabe Kylo Ren. That's a good way of putting it, article. The Sith wannabe Kylo Ren. Rian Johnson's sequel 2017, The Last Jedi, continued the Skywalker saga as it came to be known, but veered sharply from Abrams' vision and seemed to close off central storylines. Abrams U-turned back when he returned for 2019's final chapter, The Rise of Skywalker, taking over Episode 9 late in development. The movies all earned billions, but the zigzagging narrative was conspicuous. All this leads to the hiatus of fallow. I'm telling you, man, these articles just go all out with their words. I don't know what it is. Fallow? Have you ever heard the word fallow be used in everyday, like, conversation? No. Come on. Like, I get you're smarter than us. Fallow? What is fallow, man? A fallow spot in the Star Wars film landscape that Kennedy announced in early 2019, months before The Rise of Skywalker even debuted. Lucasfilm needed to regroup and rethink. We all recognized, every single one of us, that this was a new chapter for the company, and that we all needed to work together to create the architecture for what we were going to have in the future. So factor in the standalone movies Rogue One and Solo, and the Bay Area production company had been churning out a blockbuster a year at breakneck pace. Considering that Lucas only had released a film basically every 3 years during his 2 trilogies, it was quite the difference, with well over a decade between trilogies at that. Kennedy wanted to dispense with all the annual deadline and reconsider everything. The most important lesson they learned was that Star Wars requires a greater degree of professional devotion from filmmakers. Really? You don't say. Sorry, had to put that in there. Anyone who comes into the Star Wars universe needs to know that it's 3 to 4, maybe even 5-year commitment, she says. That's what it takes. You can't step in for a year and shoot something and then walk away. It requires that kind of nurturing. It does. Thank you for finally understanding. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat though. I love Dawn. It's ironic, right? As long as we leave Tatooine. Yeah, I definitely think we're going to be leaving Tatooine probably after the Kenobi show. And even then, who knows? Like, we might end up leaving there too. There was a massive deleted arc for Padme and Revenge of the Sith. I've seen it, Caleb Richardson. I love that, actually. I think it should have been kept in the movie. He says, she and Bale planted seeds for rebellion and fellow senators in private meetings. Mon Mothma appeared in those scenes. Yeah, those scenes should have been kept in the movie. It would have been so cool to see that Padme could have potentially been a part of the start of the rebellion, or, you know, the first thoughts of it. Santa has rubbed off on you. Disney shell. Oh no, it's happened. I've been titled a Disney shell. Hey man, I love me some Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars shell. That's what it is. It has nothing to do with Disney. I guess I like Marvel too. You caught me. You caught me red-handed. Take me away. Let's get back into the article though. I'm having a good time trying to read it. I can't read apparently. Where were we? So getting something appropriately cosmic prepped for their streaming service launch became Disney's highest priority after all this movie shenanigans, and it had to feel as big as the films. So Kennedy turned to a filmmaker. Jon Favreau had inaugurated the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Iron Man a decade before and was steeped into the large-scale serialized storytelling by that point. The actor and director had also become so proficient with visual effects that his most recent Disney projects, The Jungle Book and The Lion King, were often mistakenly described as live action, even though both are almost entirely digitally simulated. That's a good point. We all called it live action Lion King and live action Jungle Book. I mean, that's true. It says, I knew that Jon Favreau was always deeply interested in Star Wars. He was the first person I went to, Kennedy says. He said, not only would I have an interest, I have an idea. Plus, he was willing to meet with willing to meet that new criteria of hers. So basically, he was willing to meet the criteria of diving in for longer than just a year. You know what I mean? And so, it says, not only would I have an interest, I have an idea. Yeah. What's unique about Jon is his commitment, Kennedy says. He had a sole focus pretty much on this for the last several of years. That's been a godsend. And I imagine him and Dave Filoni and everybody else that's already integrated in Lucasfilm have been a godsend to the company and being able to, go about this creative process. It says, after meeting at Kennedy's office in Santa Monica, Favreau started working without even a contract. I just started writing, he says. So by the time I was officially hired, I had already written the first, 4 episodes. That's pretty cool. And that is his devotion. I mean, if you were a filmmaker and Star Wars, if Star Wars was offered to me, or, Kathleen Kennedy came to me, I'd just be like, yeah, I don't need a contract. I mean, it'd be nice. You know what I mean? But I'll write it. I'll do it. So I don't blame him at all. Hey, Ronnie, it's good to see you in the chat, my guy. So it says, but there was a problem. Favreau's idea was about a Mandalorian, the helmeted tribe of galactic warriors who frequently turned up as mercenaries or bounty hunters. The first, and for a long time, the only Mandalorian in the early Star Wars films was Boba Fett, and Lucasfilm planned to make him a central character in a feature film being developed by director James Mangold, which was previously contradicted, but who really cares? That's interesting that they had that in development along, when Lucasfilm first purchased Star Wars. I think the 2 projects that fans were really hoping for was a Obi-Wan Kenobi project, whether it was a show or movie, and a Boba Fett project. And at the time, we'd all wanted movies because that was the thing, Star Wars movies. Shows were really reserved for animated at the time. There wasn't live action Star Wars yet for the TV side of things. So it makes sense that, James Mangold at the time could have been part of this process. And if that's true or not, it seems as though it is here. But that's interesting. It says that wasn't the problem. Although Favreau would eventually pick up the Boba Fett story after Mangold moved on to other Lucasfilm property, directing Indiana Jones 5 now, the problem Kennedy faced was that another esteemed creative executive, Dave Filoni, had also devised a series focused on the Mandalorians. Interesting. So he had already had thoughts of making the Mandalorian show, or a show about Mandalorians. It says Filoni is the colorful cowboy hat, I don't know about colorful, but alright, wearing mastermind behind many of Lucasfilm's animated shows. He joined the company in 2005 as an apprentice to Lucas himself and developed the Clone Wars with him. Filoni wanted to explore some of the ideas they'd never fully realized. I remember when I did Clone Wars, George came in and said, well, the Mandalorians are pacifists in this time period, and I'm like, oh, well, that's a little different than everybody kind of thinks. I don't know if I can do George and Dave. And he was like, well, you gotta remember that people are just one thing. Cultures evolve and they change over time. Which definitely, good point by George. It says, being able to channel the creator makes Filoni indispensable at Lucasfilm. He was a critical part of the company's new TV ventures, and Kennedy had been nurturing his filmmaking ambitions ever since her arrival. Favreau and Filoni were friendly, but Kennedy feared a turf war might erupt. What? That's whack. I don't believe that at all. She devised a fix. I arranged a playdate, she says. I don't know about any turf wars, but I'm sure she arranged a playdate for John and Dave. I mean, they didn't need a playdate back when Dave was working on the Clone Wars in 2005 through 2008 and whatnot. Jon Favreau was down the corner working on Marvel stuff, and the two of them, shared some notes and stuff. And guess what? Back then, Jon Favreau was, cast as a voice character that was a Mandalorian that happens to be very crucial to the storyline of the Darksaber. Huh. You really think there would have been a turf war, Kathleen? Come on now. Or, sorry, Vanity Fair, because I doubt Kathleen said that there was going to be a turf war. That's their words. After meeting in Los Angeles, Favreau and Filoni exchanged ideas and drawings for Mandalorian shows that could combine their ideas. They got along instantly, like gangbusters, you don't say. Filoni's knowledge of Mandalorian history blended with Favreau's lone gunslinger concept. Most importantly, the new partners challenged each other. Favreau's idea for the child was the biggest sticking point. It gave us some pause, Kennedy says. He and Dave debated that quite ferociously. Which apparently is her words. And then real quick. This is such a cool picture, man. It's good to see Hayden. Oh, that's so dope. And it looks like kind of the cape of Darth Vader. Maybe even the boots, or, maybe that's just some Gucci boots. I don't keep up with the latest fashion, but he looks good, man. And he's, I'm excited to see him playing Darth Vader and hopefully Anakin Skywalker. We know he was cast in the Ahsoka show as well, so heck yeah, man. It's good to see him. The child, of course, is the pistachio-hued scene stealer who would melt the Mandalorian's icy bounty hunter heart by becoming the innocent he must protect at all cost. Look at this article, man. I love that. That was all right. For all the crazy words they use, that's a sentence right there. The child, of course, is the pistachio-hued scene stealer who would melt the Mandalorian's icy bounty hunter heart. Oh, such great writing. Then instantly became an object of global adoration. His real name is Grogu, but in our world, he will forever be Baby Yoda. Honestly, it's something I never would have thought to do because Yoda is Yoda, Filoni says. Yoda's homeworld and backstory were never fully revealed, and Filoni wanted to protect that mystery that Lucas had built around the original Jedi Master. I think people now look back and think it was like a slam dunk, but we were very cautious, Filoni says of the child. The amount of measuring, especially in the first season, for how we're framing this kid took a lot of effort. I imagine it did. You don't really go about that lightly, especially bringing in a baby version of that character the way that they did. And I think they definitely, whatever time and effort that they put into it was well worth it, because he is the global phenomenon and icon that he is today, you know what I mean? Says the pair spoke with Vanity Fair in a joint Zoom interview as Filoni described his initial reservations in one window. Favreau disappeared from another, rustling through papers and returning with sketches and drawings of Mando and child. One of them, drawn by Filoni himself, showed the baby's hand reaching out of a floated bassinet towards his burly protector. Most of the other concepts were off-putting, wrinkled, feral, or cartoonish, which, yes, if you've seen the kind of concept art for Grogu, a lot of them don't look right. I mean, the original concept art of Yoda didn't look right either, so it kind of makes sense. They were testing out what they could do. Where was I though? The off-putting part. I can't find where I was. It's easy to understand Filoni's hesitation. There were a lot of different looks that popped up, and then we got the one that finally clicked. It was this drawing, Favreau says, tapping a full-color concept art image, blah, 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 blah. In it, the child sits in a bulky brown onesie with wide doe eyes and a slightly derpy expression. That's him. That's the one, Favreau says. He had a kind of goofy, ugly look. We didn't want him too cute. Part of his charm is that you feel the pity for the guy. Like Chaplin's Tramp or Charlie Brown. That's so funny. I thought he is too cute, though. I mean, is this really that ugly? I don't think so. It's not that ugly. It's cute. I mean, it has the alien ugly, I guess, but it's cute. It's adorable. What's up, Beskar Boner? Mike Jokey Porter, it's good to see you in the chat. Hey, glad to see you're doing well. Is the coolest and hype. Dude, it's amazing. This is awesome news. How cool would it be? Fully fledged George's original 12 movie arc. Oh, do it. Do it, I say. Caleb Richardson, they should. Give us another trilogy. And, you know, later in the article, Kathleen is going to talk about how they're probably not staying kind of with the trilogy ideas. So maybe we won't even get trilogies going forward in Star Wars. And I'm okay with that. You know, long form storytelling is here to stay. And I'm here for it. Gotta love the unmistakably literary flourishes of a frustrated English major. Yeah, you said it, Aaron Tomato. They get to the Hayden and Ahsoka rumor. They're trying to say Rosario messed up. No. Well, I doubt that. Oh, Tim, much love, my dude. You're a go, my guy. Tim just tipped $5 saying much love. Great news today, and a shout out to the homies in the chat. Y'all are the best. Tim is the best. Much love, everybody. Thank you guys for being here. Alright. Back into the article. Although, if you guys want to put stuff in the chat, I'll try to read more. It's good to see you, though, Mike Porter, Caleb Richardson, Aaron Tomato. There goes my phone. Too hyped for this news, man. There was never an alternate creature suggestion. It's not like we might have gotten a crustacean like Baby Akbar on lunchboxes, dolls, backpacks, and t-shirts. And we may never have gotten a child at all if Lucasfilm hadn't solved another, even bigger problem with The Mandalorian. How to create the show that goes to new worlds in every episode without the back-breaking budgetary demands of shipping a crew to the farthest reaches of our own planet. And they kind of get in here to how they kind of came up with basically the volume and how they, you know, shoot these new shows and whatnot, and how Jon Favreau came up with the idea and everything, and Kathleen Kennedy funded it, and it's all an awesome story that I love talking about. I mean, you know, they have the whole Manhattan Beach warehouse where all those things are kind of at, and they have some, I think, in Atlanta. I mean, so they even talk about how the Avatar director James Cameron came to visit, and basically he was next door working on the Avatar sequels in his water tank, and John had asked us basically to display the monitors and test what we had shot earlier in the day. The footage featured a Mandalorian stand-in pacing around the dilapidated ruins of an abandoned building. See what I was dilapidated, sorry. Littered with debris and stained by water damage, with walls peeling like dead skin. So basically just a really complicated kind of thing going on with the LED screens. Yo, Michael, I appreciate it, my dude. He says, hyped for Star Wars and MCU, bro. Tell me about it, my guy. I'm super hyped for it, especially with what the MCU has been doing, let alone the future of Star Wars that we're getting into, man. Celebration in 9 days is about to freaking be awesome. And of course, it's a 4-day event, and we're going to get 2 Obi-Wan Kenobi episodes during it. But, I mean, Celebration, it's about to be bonkers, my God. It's about to be bonkers. So I'll skip ahead here a little bit because a lot of what they talk about is the volume, and of course here's a picture of the volume. And James Cameron, it seems like, even gave him a little bit of tidbits or insight into how they can even improve the volume. It sounds like it really helped. And of course, four of the main faces of Star Wars at the moment: John, Deborah Chow, Dave Filoni, and Kathleen Kennedy, the president. One of our first outsiders to see the volume was Pedro Pascal. When the actor was recruited by Favreau, blah, 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 blah. Let me see. I want to kind of get ahead into more of this stuff. So Pedro, they have a thing of Pedro talking about the volume a little bit, but then it gets into here. Star Wars actors tend to become Star Wars actors for life. In the late 90s, this led Mcgregor to agonize over playing the young Obi-Wan Kenobi in the prequel movies. I really questioned it a lot, he says. It felt like I was part of this new wave of British cinema, really, and that Star Wars wasn't me. That's not what I stood for. I was this sort of urban, grungy, independent film actor. The late Sir Alec Guinness notoriously looked down on the space saga when he played the wise old man in the original films. Mcgregor says he did too, especially after his first installment in 1999's The Phantom Menace. It suffered punishing reviews too. It was hard because it was such a huge decision to do them, such a big event during the time. It was quite difficult for a lot of us to deal with. Also knowing that you've got a couple more to do, he says. And I butchered the accent, darn it. McGregor was relieved to put the franchise behind him, but in 2017 he was invited to the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood for a marathon screening of every Star Wars film. They asked me if I would return or would want to introduce one, and I've never done anything like that. But suddenly it just struck me that I really did want to, McGregor recalls. Why he had this feelings change? Why did he have feelings change? I don't know, he says, scratching through his scruffy chin. I really do think it has to do a lot with growing up. He enjoyed seeing people in sleeping bags pulling an all-nighter with his movies. Kids who'd grown up with the prequels weren't as cynical as the critics. A few reviewers had even begun to reappraise them. I think I said that. Reappraise them. People loved him as Obi-Wan Kenobi, which made McGregor realize that he did too. And I mean, come on. Who doesn't love Ewan as Obi-Wan? The dude's a goat. The dude's a legend. What's up, dude? Trust me, bro. It's good to see you in the chat. There's some that's not too important, for sure. This, like I said, man, this is a long article. Long article. It's so cool that James Cameron is kind of part of the volume too. Yeah, it is. It is really cool. James Cameron did a lot with Avatar and kind of virtual expansion with storytelling and movies and stuff. So it is really cool. So after the screening, McGregor started to get asked the question nearly every time he gave an interview. Would he ever consider playing Obi-Wan Kenobi again? McGregor always answered in the affirmative, which is good politics but not contradictory obligations. The only time the question really mattered was when McGregor was asked by Lucasfilm head of story Kiri Hart about 4 years ago. And I'll get to that here in a second. But real quick, much love to Steve Staranka, who just tipped $5 as well. You a goat, Steve. If there's any message that you want to put into the chat, I appreciate you. And for anybody that wants to help support the channel, first of all, we are just 51 subscribers away from hitting 1,000 subscribers and getting the channel monetized right before the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. So if you guys have not subscribed already and you're new to the channel, that's the best way to support right now, is just hit that subscribe button and come back to Vader's Lair every time that we upload a video or post a new live stream or what have you, because it's hype, man. Star Wars is about to get super exciting with Obi-Wan just 10 days away. So make sure to subscribe, smash that like button. Much love, y'all. And then also you can check out our streamlabs.com website, where you can donate to the channel or check out our merch store, and then of course our Twitter and Instagram that are up there, although you can't see them because of the white screen at the moment. You can check those out and find those links on the Streamlabs website as well. I appreciate you guys for being here. Much love, everybody. Much love. So, of course, they kept asking him if he would come back to play and blah, 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 blah. And 4 years ago is the only time it mattered when Kiri Hart basically had asked him. She just said, "We just wanted to know if it's true. You said you'd do it again. We want to know if you mean it." And McGregor recalls, "I said, yeah, I do mean it. I would be happy to do it again." And that's going to be life-changing for him, I tell you that. Lucasfilm intended to make Obi-Wan Kenobi as a movie to be directed by Oscar nominee Stephen Daldry. I think I said that right. McGregor would be a producer this time, giving him more say over the story. "I just said I think that it should be a story about a broken man. A man who's lost his faith. He always has funny lines to say and always seems to be calm and is a good warrior or soldier or whatever. But to see the man come apart and see what gets him back together again, that's where we started." And I think that is going to be kind of the premise of the show, as McGregor kind of gives us some details there into what we're going to see with it. Hey, Star Wars Santa, it's good to see you in the chat, my guy. Dude, how awesome is this news today? I saw your stream earlier. You were killing it with them. It's great news, man. It's amazing to see the positivity in the franchise, in my opinion. I know some people might have negative feelings or whatever. You sucker. Hey, I didn't know there was going to be more stuff with Obi-Wan. Shush. I didn't spoil anything, unless you're talking to Santa, which, yeah, I mean, Santa's the best. I don't know if he's a sucker. Good to see you, though, Santa. When the Obi-Wan film later evolved into an Obi-Wan TV series as part of Lucasfilm's new yearning of Disney Plus content, Daldry departed and Deborah Chow, a director from The Mandalorian, came aboard with the goal to keep the series cinematic in scope. There remained one missing component: McGregor's prequel co-star, Hayden Christensen, and had Anakin Skywalker to his Obi-Wan. Yes, of course, you have to have Anakin and Obi-Wan together. It's only right. Or at least Darth Vader. You know what I mean? It says, had been Anakin Skywalker to his Obi-Wan Kenobi, brothers in arms until their brutal battle on the lava flow in Revenge of the Sith. Still in the early iterations of Obi-Wan Kenobi, in Exile story, Vader wasn't included. Dun dun dun! It's an ongoing conundrum at Lucasfilm. How much should they showcase legacy characters, and how much should they keep them in reserve? Would introducing Vader to a story about Obi-Wan Kenobi's exile distract from their fateful meeting on the Death Star in 1977's Star Wars when Vader strikes down his old friend? Or could a previously unknown encounter actually enhance that moment? I'm tired of this, by the way. Let me just interject as we're going through this. Vader did not strike down Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, I guess he did, because Obi-Wan Kenobi is like, "Strike me down and I shall become more powerful than you will ever imagine." You know what I'm saying? But did he really strike him down, though? I mean, the whole point of, thing of him turning into a Force ghost and disappearing like Luke and all of them did is that I think he disappeared before Vader struck him down. So I don't know. Personally, it irks me seeing Vader struck him down. No, he didn't. He became one with the Force. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. Trailer Park Santa in the lair. Today is the shiltastic day. It is a shiltastic day indeed. To do more backstory on Kenobi. Hey, that's what's up. The accent. Oh no. I'm probably butchering the accent. We have these what-if conversations 24/7, says Michael Redwin, an executive producer of Obi-Wan and one of the company's lead development chiefs. It's fun to, in your head, peruse the Star Wars toy store? See what... that one just melted in my brain. What? Hey, Don just tipped $25. Whoa, Don. Thank you so much. That is too generous. Don, you are one of the most consistent and awesome people. I love seeing your comments in the chat. You're just an awesome, bright spot of positivity in the community. So thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. $25 is way too generous, but thank you so much. Santa says Vader struck down Kenobi's robes. Kenobi was already gone. I'm with you, Sheev. Thank you, Santa. He dipped. He was just... Whoop. Vader was even kicking at it. He's like, I didn't even hit him. What the heck? When introducing... Let me get back into this. Thank you again, Don. You're awesome for that. I mean, you're awesome in general. Jeez. In the fall of 2019, Chow sat in Christensen's living room, asking him to return as the most fearsome tyrant in the galaxy. Logs crackled in the fireplace. A cup of herb, lemon, and ginger tea steamed in Chow's cup. Vader, she told Christensen, would add a new dimension that could ultimately reframe the ways fans look at their classic duel in the original movie. Definitely true. And I think this conversation was probably just such a cool conversation to have, probably for both of them. You know what I mean? Like, having the opportunity to invite Hayden back and Hayden being invited back, like, man, Don, you're so kind. Matthew Cruz, she definitely is. She's definitely one of the kindest people I've interacted with online. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of you guys in the community are. Don't get me wrong. Chaos, Steve Starenka, everybody here is a pretty good person. I think you guys really make this community what it is. I know I'm just a dude that streams, and Santa's an awesome guy that is friends with Star Wars Meg and, you know, Jason Ward, and they squirt out, you know, stuff left and right, but we're all just people, and it's cool to see this awesome community of good people that just love Star Wars content and get brought together by Star Wars content. So I'm at a loss for words from the $25 donation and the other tips, and almost being monetized as it is, like nearly being at 1,000 subscribers. It's indescribable, the feeling of just getting up here and being able to do these live streams when I do. It always brings my day a little bit more joy when I'm doing them. So thank you guys, for real. Don says, Kenobi sacrificed himself. He took one glance at Luke, then stopped fighting. He did. And it totally threw Vader off too. I loved it. We do have a great community, Matthew Cruz. And I know I'm not the only one that's built it. And I appreciate everybody that has, you know, put in the effort and, you know, makes it what it is. Even just the people that show up every day for my stream, for Santa's stream, for Star Wars Meg's videos every day. Heck, for Josh over at the Den of Nerds. It's awesome that we have the positivity in our little space. Blah blah blah. Yeah, Tim, that's what I was reading through there. But this isn't blah 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 right here. I'm blah blah blahing at this point. At the time of the meeting between Hayden Christensen and Deborah Chow, it had been 14 years since Revenge of the Sith, and the actor assumed his galactic glory days were done. He was happy to be wrong. This is a character that has come to define my life in so many ways, he says. I was originally hired to play a very specific portion of this person's life. Most of his work was with Anakin, and now I get to come back and explore the character of Darth Vader. Technically, you don't need Christensen for Vader. All you need is the mask, a hulking figure, and the suit. And if you're lucky, James Earl Jones' imperious voice. Of course, I love James Earl Jones' voice. But you do need Hayden Christensen to show the audience the hot-headed but compassionate man who was lost when Anakin Skywalker became Vader. A lot of my conversations with Deborah were about wanting to convey this feeling of strength, but also coupled with imprisonment, Christensen says. There was this power and vulnerability, and I think that's an interesting space to explore. Sheev, when you're famous, don't forget about us, says Steve. Hey, what the heck? You guys are the ones that are gonna make me famous, if anything. It's actually interesting they talk about how they could enhance their last moment. True, Tim. It is interesting. Santa says maybe Luke learned that the force projecting thing from Kenobi, and Obi-Wan was really just force projecting the whole time on the Death Star. That's why he wasn't there when Vader slashed his robes. Force projection, you say? He was projecting himself onto Tatooine too? It makes the sequels make more sense, Santa, but I don't know about that one. When Chow became the showrunner of Obi-Wan Kenobi, she championed a rematch between Vader and Kenobi, as Lucasfilm brain trust mold whether to go that route. Meanwhile, Soundstages had been booked in England and then cancelled as the story underwent more internal scrutiny, sparking fears from fans that the show itself might go away too. In March 2020, shortly before lockdown began, the decision was finalized. Vader would return. Part of Chow's successful perspective on why Vader and Kenobi should face each other again may surprise even the most ardent Star Wars fan, especially those who will think of the two as harboring an epic contempt for one another. Man, big words are the death of me, man. For me, across the prequels through the original trilogy, there's a love story dynamic with these two that goes through the whole thing, Chow says. I felt like it was quite hard to not include the person who left Kenobi in such anguish in the series. I love that she kind of says that, you know, I feel the same way in a way. Like, obviously growing up, I was very close with my brother. So, you know, growing up watching Star Wars and playing through Lego Star Wars games with my brother, and you know, seeing the brotherhood between Obi-Wan and Anakin, as the new book about the two of them is titled Brotherhood. Seeing that brotherhood really, you know, made me relate to my brother, and kind of the bond we have is brothers often butt heads and, you know, clash, and I think in a way they're even, you know, saying that the two still love each other even now as Obi-Wan is facing Darth Vader. Like, he still cares about the man that was once Anakin Skywalker. I don't know, man. I love it. I love that she put it that way, that it's almost a love story dynamic between the two of them, because it is. And it's a brotherly love that is very real. It's very felt. If you have a brother, or, you know, a friend that you consider to be like a brother, it's very connecting. While Luna is the kind of actor who huddles in the backseat of a car, hiding Star Wars calls from probably oblivious drivers, Rosario Dawson is the type who FaceTimes her friend's 8-year-old while in costume as Alien Force seeker Ahsoka. Her full blue and white head tails, framing burnt Bertumber makeup, I don't know what that, Bertumber, what the heck, and white warrior markings. I called my friend Polina because her son Cosmo is a huge Star Wars fan, knows every ship, every robot, says Dawson. He sees me and throws the phone across the room, just freaked out. I've gotten ice cream with this kid. We've hung out, but it was too much that this character he loves was starting to talk to him and said his name. She calls me back the next day and goes, Cosmo just walked into the room and told me he's ready now. I said, well, that's very sweet, but I'm no longer in costume. His moment is missed. She shrugs. That will be a life lesson for him moving forward. Yeah, that kid learned. He had a one-on-one call with Ahsoka Tano. He hung up. Yeah, already been live for an hour. Dude, I'm telling you, there's a lot in this article. And I mean, come on, kid. You're gonna learn from that mistake. You won't hang up on Rosario the next time. Or Ahsoka, my mistake. I know you're being silly, Santa. It's chow time, Jason. I'm dead. 06 Merc, what's up, my guy? He says, yo, I'm not about this woke Disney trash. What's trash about it, my guy? What's woke? Talk to me, Merc. Or don't. That's okay too, because I disagree. I really don't know what you're talking about, but maybe I'm a shill. You only get one shot. Don't miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime, yo. I'm dead. I'm dead. There wouldn't have been a robe left, Santa. Remember, Vader was stomping on it. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. All right, let's continue here. So Dawson has the same enthusiasm for Star Wars as Cosmo does. Her casting as Ahsoka Tano, who previously was voiced by Ashley Eckstein and existed only in animation, was the result of a fan suggestion that Lucasfilm took seriously. Someone tweeted tweeted Dawson a piece of art depicting her as the heroine, and she responded, yes please. That made its way to Dave Filoni, who had been working with Favreau to include Ahsoka in both The Mandalorian and later The Book of Boba Fett. His ultimate goal was to give Ahsoka her own TV series. And of course that was Dave's goal. That wise old Dave. Kid Chaos says, I haven't read the leaks, but are they really making the show about Reva? So I've been kind of steering away from the leaks and from this in particular. I haven't really talked about the controversy, if you say, that's out there. And Kid Chaos, I will tell you right now, it's not about Reva. It's not about spaceships. It's not about Reva. It's about way more. You know, Reva is just a character in the story, the same way that Obi-Wan is a character in A New Hope, or that, sorry, it's a little bit different there, but because she's not like mentoring anybody, but you know, she's a supporting actress. She's a supporting character. She's one of the main characters in the show. She's not the main character. The show is titled Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, I'm not getting into any really Kenobi leaks, but that's what I'll tell you, Kid Chaos, is that it's about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Santa says Kenobi is no more about Reva than the Batman was about Catwoman. Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Alright. Continuing on though, in October of 2021, after Dawson had shot her guest spots, she read a trade report about Christensen possibly joining her standalone show. Anakin Skywalker had been the character's mentor, and Vader's memory would understandably still haunt her. Dawson took a screenshot of the headline and opened Instagram using the character's nickname for each other from Clone Wars as a caption. I just posted, Sky Guy. They know. See you soon, Snips. Only later did she realize that the report was just an unconfirmed rumor. That's why she said they know. See you soon. Fans took her post as hard confirmation, and the power that can be at Lucasfilm were distressed. I look at my email and Star Wars was like, you might want to take that down. It's even more proof that it's real. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's even been confirmed that Hayden's going to be in the show since then, but which I don't think they're denying it here in the article, but we all know it's true. She said it. She spilled the beans. And Dawson remembered after that. She's like, man, I can't be trusted. And no, she can't. She's like Tom Holland with the Marvel shows and Marvel stuff. You know what I mean? And we get a nice picture of Favreau with the child, Grogu, of course. We shall find out soon enough. Kid Chaos says, yeah, I kind of had the same feelings. I'm steering away from the leaks like a mother ever. Yeah, dude, it's not even that I'm steering away from it. I don't want to be, you know, uninclusive of the people that don't want to know about it. So I don't want to cover them right now. No point to. I've digged it a little bit in myself, and we've covered some other kind of spoiler stuff within the show in the past. So if you are interested in some of the leaks, we do have a folder or a playlist of Kenobi stuff that you can go check out on the channel. But other than that, I'm not getting too much into the spoilers now that we're just 10 days away. We will find out soon enough, as Darth Chaos says. Indeed. Steve Sarenka says Catwoman kind of fired her, so Reva might be fired too. That's what I think. I'm here for that. She's doing the press tour with Hayden and Ewan, so you can assume she has a big role, but that doesn't mean it's her show. There's enough time to develop multiple characters. I think so too. You know, if it is, you know, 45-minute to 60-minute episodes like I'm hoping for, or I kind of think it'll be, there's plenty of time to give us a little bit of Reva, a ton of Kenobi, And then even a bit of Anakin or Darth Vader in there too. Don't be swayed by thinking that this is gonna be the Reva show. It's not gonna be the freaking Reva show. It's not gonna be the freaking Reva show. If it was the Reva show, they would have freaking titled it Star Wars Inquisitors Reva or something like that. You know what I mean? Talk about fire. How about Mon Mothma pic? She's looking amazing. Dude, I ain't never seen a Mothma. I've never seen a Mon Mothma that actually looks that good. Mon Mothma, my new bae, says Steve Steranke. You telling me, my man. And I'm not saying she has to be there. Oh, hold up. Let me read back what Tim says. Oh, yeah. He said, I'm not saying she has to be there for time. A lot of badass characters. There's a lot of time for a lot of badass characters. I agree with you. She's an Inquisitor. I'm just trying to be open for new characters, too. She seemed cool. She does seem real cool. So the critics want a show to be all about Anakin, Vader, no other characters. But in 6 episodes, yet they don't want them to meet. I can't figure the logic. I don't know. My brain hurts. My brain hurts from this. I think we aren't going to be disappointed in the end. And Tim, that is the exact thing that we should focus on. We're not going to be disappointed in the end. So why are we making up scenarios and different things about this or that character being the main part of the show? Let's just watch the show first, people. To the people that are skeptical. Let's just watch it first, huh? You ain't even seen it yet. You're following leaks from a guy that you probably don't even believe. You understand that? I mean, I believe him. I think he does pretty good work. I know, whatever. But we better see the GOAT Max Rebo. Do it. Who knows? Maybe he's hanging out at the cantina. I would love to see Max Rebo. Hey, it's been fun. It's been fun having you in the chat, Star Wars Santa. Thank you for stopping in. Definitely go check out Star Wars Santa's channel. And yeah, bro, thank you for being here. It's just always good to have you in the chat, my guy. The nostalgia this show brings alone will have me weak. You're telling me, Beskar Boner. It'll have your boner weak. Oh, man. It won't be Beskar anymore. Alright, let's continue. Ahsoka will be appearing to Disney Plus in 2023, confirmed through Lucasfilm, eager to reclaim secrecy. Eager to claim secrecy, still won't confirm if Dawson had inadvertently leaked the truth about Anakin or if it was a false report. It's true. All of it. As with every Star Wars title, emotions and nostalgia are wrapping up in the series. Filoni, who's overseeing the show, helped create the title character with Lucas and watched her become a touchstone to young girls who were drawn to Snips as the first female lead in the Jedi Order. The quest Ahsoka was hinted at in her guest appearance on The Mandalorian and Boba Fett, hunting an Imperial Grand Admiral named Thrawn, who vanished deep into space at the conclusion of the animated Rebels series. Pardon me. Thrawn is likely to be the storyline is basically likely to be explored further. Although the plot details are still being tightly held, Ahsoka is a continuous story, Filoni offers. That's a fantastic news right there. It is definitely driving towards a goal in my mind, as opposed to being little singular adventures. Okay, so it's going to be kind of a long form kind of storytelling thing that has a goal in mind and kind of an end in sight. Kind of like with what George always had and what Dave had with Star Wars Rebels and with even the Clone Wars at one point too. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to hear him say. Gotta say. And the fact that he says Ahsoka is a continuous story, that could potentially be huge. The Ahsoka show was previously thought to potentially be a limited series, meaning it would only be about one season. And if it's a continuous story, that hints that it might be longer. And even recently, when it was referred to it with the whole, announcement of it going into production, there was nothing about it being a limited series in sight. So we're all kind of crossing our fingers that there's going to be multiple seasons with the Ahsoka show. Personally, I'm a big fan of long form content and the ability to tell stories over a long period of time and over a longer period of episodes, or time spent with the characters. That's how I like my stories, or how I like my Star Wars stories. So this is awesome news to me, and I'm really, really hopeful that we get at least 3 seasons of Ahsoka. Four would be perfect. Give us 4 seasons, please. Do it. Steve says, just the beginning. Yes, Tim. We're probably getting Hayden in Ahsoka too. Yeah, so that was kind of hinted at here in that last little bit. I think it's most likely going to happen. I'm crossing my fingers, but I think Hayden will be in it. We've heard other reports and rumors that it will be happening, so I'm down for it, man. Kid Chaos says, speaking of Thrawn, I just downloaded the trilogy audiobooks. Only started them, but this writing is great already. Only 52 more hours to go. Dude, that's awesome, Kid Chaos. Highly recommend them. I recently just went through them myself. In fact, yesterday I started the Brotherhood book, which is, that's not a Thrawn book, but that one just came out on May 10th, and it's about Anakin and Obi-Wan just following the events of Attack of the Clones. So that book is super good so far. I'm about 6 or 7 chapters into the Brotherhood book, and so far, one of the best Star Wars stories that I've ever read book-wise. But the best ones so far have been the Thrawn books. So there is 6 Thrawn books right now. There's the Ascendancy trilogy, and then the first Thrawn books, Thrawn Treason, or Thrawn Alliances and Thrawn Treason. All of those books, fantastic. Add a lot to the lore. Definitely need to know them. It's very important. I'm probably going to cover the stuff that kind of happens, or the main parts of that stuff, in some Thrawn videos in the near future here. But yeah, those books, definitely highly recommend them. If you can get the audiobooks, they're a lot of fun to listen through, and highly recommend Brotherhood as well. Talented Mr. Griffin says, I'm curious as to how they'll proceed without disrupting current canon. Interesting. I don't know if you're referring to Obi-Wan or what you're honestly referring to, Talented Mr. Griffin, but I think they always find a way to straddle the line and still keep it all canonical. The only exception is, of course, when Dave likes to change comics that already are canon under Disney or different things like that. So, I mean, I don't know. More Ahsoka, let's go! Right, Chaos? Right, always good to get more Ahsoka. Kid Chaos says, Brotherhood and Shadow of the Sith already pre-ordered. Facts. Hey, well, Brotherhood should be out. Brotherhood should be out on already came out on May 10th, I believe, so you should be able to listen to it now. It's good so far. Padawannabe, my guy. What's up, my dude? He says, Brotherhood, huh? I'll get that one then. I can't turn down prequel content. Hello, all. Hey, welcome into the chat, Padawannabe. And yeah, I gotta say, it's pretty good. I don't want to give too much away for it, and it's not like huge spoilers, and it's a book, so I mean, I don't think too many people will care, but potential spoilers, I'll talk about it just for like a quick second here. Just mute me and bring me back if you don't want to hear spoilers for this book. But there is a moment that's kind of literally like a cameo in the book of Anakin talking to Jaro Tapal, and of course Cal Kestis is there with him. And then in one of the chapters I just read, Obi-Wan was at Dex's diner and had a cool conversation with him, trying to get some information on the Cato Nemoidians. So I don't know, man. The book so far has just been really cool. If you're a fan of the prequels, Attack of the Clones in particular, I definitely think you'll like this book a lot. Especially, this year is the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones. It just happened the other day. So awesome stuff with that book so far. Steve Storenka says, when are we going to get shows that literally drop a new episode every week without stopping? 52 weeks a year. That's what I'm saying, Steve. Do it. Just record as you're going, That would be awesome. I feel like that's the future, but we'll see. No show does that. Let's go, Disney. Yeah, for real, man. Get your stuff going. Tim says Ahsoka and Mando are probably going to have a crossover at some point again. I still feel like the shows in the Mando timeline lead to one big thing. I think so too. Maybe that's the Kevin Feige movie that gets touched on a little bit here. This article's so big, man. But yeah, dude, I'm totally for that. I'm totally for it. I think there will be a crossover between Ahsoka and Mando once again. We already saw it in the Book of Boba Fett, a show that's about neither of them. So yeah, dude, I definitely think it's possible we could see the two interacting in no time at all. I'm sure we're going to have Vader interactions with the Inquisitors a few times, but I want to see them reporting on Sidious and Thrawn. Dude, that's what I want to see in the Andor show. I want to see some spying going on of Sidious and Thrawn, some of the biggest people in the Empire. Because, I mean, Mon Mothma's going to want to know some of those secrets, you know? She's going to want to know some of those secrets. Alright, let's keep this big old Vanity Fair thing rolling. I remember where I was, of course. Continuous story, though. Fantastic news. To keep minting fans, Lucasfilm must be giving new generations their own collection of characters to love and hate, and not every classic character. Yeah, let's give the fans a bunch of characters to love and hate. Now, but I mean, there's characters like Clovis, who we were watching the Clovis arc in our Clone Wars chronological rewatch yesterday. You love to hate Clovis. He's such a dimwit. But not every classic character can be brought back endlessly anyway. Kennedy is well aware of this now. In The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, Mark Hamill, who's 70 years old, delivered performances as 30-something-year-old Luke. But younger actors played Luke's body while advanced deepfake technology was able to replace the face. Bringing Luke Skywalker to life is now a team sport. But the tech has its limitations, so does recasting. In the 2018 movie Solo explored Han Solo's younger years, with Alden Ehrenreich taking on the role of the smuggler, originated by Harrison Ford. As we all know, and I think most of us probably enjoy that film for what it is, you know what I mean? I like that movie. It says the film has its admirers, but it made less at the box office than any other live-action Star Wars movie. And there's more to it than it just being a solo movie and everything. But, I mean, not the... I could rant for days on the Solo movie and Lucasfilm's ineptitude with it. Sorry. Just me ranting there. Now we get to the evil part of this article. Poor Alden. I feel like I should go on a rant here. Like, this really irked me earlier today. It says the film has its admirers, but it made less at the box office than any other live-action Star Wars movies. Solo swagger may also be too singular for other actors to replicate. Oh man, Matthew Cruz, I appreciate that, my dude. He tips $5 saying, what do you think about Ahsoka potentially changing her mind to eventually train Grogu? Perhaps her being Anakin's Padawan and knowing his character makes her best suited to train him. Interesting thoughts there. Matthew Cruz, I would love that personally. I think if in the Ahsoka show we get kind of a moment where Ahsoka is talking to like a Force ghost of Anakin or something kind of like that, and she gets the closure she needs, even a conversation with Luke that we haven't seen or something where the two talk about how Anakin was redeemed in the end. I think something like that could definitely go a long way for her character and for how she kind of views training Grogu and going about that. Personally, I don't know if that'll ever happen just because I don't think she even views herself as a Jedi anymore. And maybe she'll train him in the ways of the Force and all this different stuff. But in a way, Luke's already started that. He had a lot of training back at the Jedi Temple. So I think it's possible he could get a smudging or a little bit more of training from Luke. But other than that, I'm not sure. I have a theory that The Mandalorian Season 3 could start with Din Djarin trying to take Grogu back to Luke Skywalker, because at the end of the Book of Boba Fett, or during that show, I don't think it's ever made clear to Din Djarin why Grogu is back. He just suddenly is back, kind of. You know, R2 came to bring him. It wasn't even Luke Skywalker himself, so it's like, does Mando know that, you know, the kid's supposed to be there? He's probably confused a little bit, and I think the end of the show is them blasting off maybe to go back to Luke Skywalker so Mando and him can have a conversation about Grogu's training. Thank you for the $5 chat, though. Much love, Matthew Cruz. You're a goat, my dude. I appreciate that. Let's continue on, though. Don says, I agree with that theory. Hey, I'm glad somebody does. Tim says, I mean, I've heard a lot of people saying they just aren't down for iconic characters to be recast and just didn't care for Alden at all. So I see her point, but the way she said it makes him look kind of bad. Yeah, we'll get into it here in a second. Oh my goodness. Matthew Cruz again with the $3 chat says, I think Grogu's path is going to be a hybrid of Jedi, Mandalorian, and Ahsoka isn't true Jedi. Dogmatic like you said. Yes, I definitely agree. I think that could be the case. I personally would love if Grogu is a hybrid Jedi Mandalorian like Tar Vizsla or Tar Vizsla. I was right the first time. Like Tar Vizsla, the original creator of the Darksaber, the wielder of the Darksaber, the once ruler of Mandalore himself, Tar Vizsla. I would love if Grogu's story is parallel to his, but of course he lives for close to 900 years, so his story can span a lot longer and a lot greater than Tar Vizsla's even could. I love it though. Thank you, Matthew Cruz. I really do appreciate those super donations. You're the best, my dude. I appreciate you. Let us continue on. I think Alden captures Han's vibe pretty good. I thought he did really well. I'll say that. Padawannabe says, I see Din going back to Ahsoka. She will say something like, I told you before, I cannot train Grogu. Din replies saying, I know, but I need you to train me. Darksaber ignites. Yeah, I'm down for it. That sounds pretty lit. I'm down for that, to be honest. Let's continue on. We got to get to this at some point. Kathleen Kennedy taking an absolute all over Alden Ehrenreich. So, Solo swagger may be too singular for another actor to replicate. There should be moments along the way where you learn things, says Kennedy. Now it seems abundantly clear that we can't do that. To ensure that Star Wars will need new actors, new characters, and new era, vaulting away from the timeline as we know it, another upcoming series, The Acolyte, reportedly starring Amanda Stenberg, aims to do that. The show is currently in the casting phase, but the writing is largely complete. According to Leslie Headland, at least. Co-creator of the time-looping Netflix show Russian Doll, she has been planning it for 2 years now, mostly from the confines of her own home. Her dog, her cat, who peek in curiously from the background of Zoom, are certainly steeped in the concept of the galaxy's High Republic era, she says. But casual Star Wars fans who haven't been following the recent novels and comics might still be unaware of those events and what's going on during that era. The Acolyte, Headland says, takes place roughly 100 years before The Phantom Menace. A lot of those characters haven't even been born yet. We're talking about the political and personal and spiritual things that came up in a time period that we don't know much about. My question when watching The Phantom Menace was always like, well, how did things get to this point? How did we get to the point where a Sith Lord can infiltrate the Senate and then the Jedi are picking up on it? Like, what went wrong? What are the scenarios that led up to this moment? And of course, the Clone Wars does a great job of depicting, Sheev Palpatine and, the eventual Emperor as his rise and how he orchestrated the Clone Wars behind the scenes to make that exact thing kind of happen. And of course, that's somewhat more of a mystery in Attack of the Clones, but in Attack of the Clones, we do get a little bit of a tidbit and an insight on how Palpatine ended up gaining, emergency powers, how in episode 1, he ended up taking the spot of Chancellor Valorum as the Chancellor of the Galactic Republic. So I definitely agree with her. Those are some of the most interesting parts of the prequel era, and I love that she's kind of diving in on that. And the fact that it's 100 years before The Phantom Menace, that's actually really, really crucial details there. It means that, of course, as it says in here, characters like Palpatine will not have been born yet, but it's highly possible we could see characters like Darth Tenebris, who's the master of Darth Plagueis the Wise, the master of Sheev Palpatine, the Emperor of the Galaxy. So it'd be dope if the main character of the show that is played by Amanda Stenberg is interacting at some point throughout the show 100 years before A Phantom Menace with the likes of Tenebris or Darth Plagueis. It would be amazing. I would love it. I would love to see that. Headland describes The Acolyte as a mysterious thriller set in a prosperous and seemingly peaceful era when the galaxy is still sleek and glistening. We actually use the term the Renaissance or the Age of Enlightenment, she says. Jedi were not... This says Jedis, but it's actually Jedi is the plural of Jedi. Come on now, Vanity Fair. It says Jedi were not always aesthetic, monk-like figures living selflessly and bravely. The Jedi uniforms are gold and white, and it's almost like they would never get dirty. They would never be out and about, Headland says. The idea is that they could have these types of uniform because that's how little they're getting into skirmishes, compared to, of course, by the time of the prequel era, they're wearing robes and like monk kind of outfits because they kind of give up any kind of possessions or being that kind of golden, I don't know, whatever, the High Republic era kind of thing. Another new series in the horizon doesn't even seem to have a title, but just a code name, and I can't wait to get into this part right here. Grammar Rodeo is a reference to an episode of The Simpsons in which Bart and his schoolmates steal a car and run away for a week, using a phony educational event as an alibi. The show takes place during the post-Return of the Jedi reconstruction that follows the fall of the Empire, the same as The Mandalorian, but its plot remains a secret. It's created and executive produced by director John Watts, and writer Chris Ford, who made Spider-Man Homecoming for Marvel. A casting notice has called for 4 children around 11 to 12 years old. I thought he did Spider-Man No Way Home. I don't think he did Homecoming. Did he do Homecoming too? I think he might have done Homecoming. Maybe he did all 3 and I'm just ridiculous, but I thought Watts did No Way Home. I don't know if he did all 3 of the Spider-Man movies. I don't know. I like John Watts a lot though. And the fact that he's going to be executive producing and directing for this Grammar Rodeo thing, that's freaking awesome news to me. I mean, originally John Watts not too long ago was actually, I know we don't dive too much into the MCU or Marvel news, but at one point, John Watts, after No Way Home, was set to direct and kind of produce or whatever. He was set to direct for a Fantastic Four movie that's probably going to be one of Marvel's biggest movies coming up. And it doesn't seem like he was a part of that anymore. It seems like he was kind of taken off of it. And now we're hearing that he's going to be the showrunner, basically, for this Grammar Rodeo project. It almost feels like Star Wars stole one away from Marvel there. It feels good, man. I like John Watts a lot, so I'm excited to have him creating stuff within the Star Wars universe. It's freaking awesome, man. It's awesome. Yeah, now makes sense why he's not doing Fantastic Four Dark Chaos. Exactly. Snatched him. Yeah, boom, give me John Watts. The Padawannabe says that kind of behind the scenes stuff is right up my alley. I really do believe each of the new shows will give us the way to the movies we know. Jedi Rise, Mando Rise, and the Rebellion Rises. Yeah, dude, that's Tim. I can't speak. Don't worry about it. Don't worry if you can't type. I can't speak. Oh man. I'm with you though, the Padawannabe. I'm with you. So, getting into it though, a casting notice has been called for 4 children around the ages of 11 to 12 years old. Inside Lucasfilm, the show is being described as a galactic version of classic Amblin coming-of-age adventure films of the 80s. That leaves the question of what's happening with the Star Wars movies. And before we get into that, I want to touch on Grammar Rodeo just a bit more. So, a little bit ago, there were 2 kind of secretive projects that Star Wars had in the works that we were all trying to figure out what's going on with these. And we had heard Grammar Rodeo was casting kids. Seems as though they're casting 4 children around the ages 11 to 12 years old. And there was also a rumor of a project called Tales of the Jedi. We didn't know if they were going to be the same thing. We didn't know what was going on with both of them. But it seems as though we had found out Tales of the Jedi was going to have an announcement at Star Wars Celebration, and it seemed as though that was going to be an animated show, which makes a lot of sense with other rumors that we've heard as well. Now we're getting this information of Grammar Rodeo being the kind of kid project, and if the fact that it's set in the Return of the Jedi era, or post Return of the Jedi era, the same timeline as the Mandalorian, that is huge. I can't tell you guys how important that is. It's big. I mean, that means we could get the likes of a Skywalker Academy type of show potentially, as that was kind of rumored back in the day to be happening. A show where Luke Skywalker in live action is training the children of the Force, the next group of Jedi, maybe even training the likes of Ben Solo, maybe characters like Han Solo. I mean, I don't know, man. Leia Organa even, So I'm just getting too hyped speculating here, but that's the kind of thing set in this time period we could get with four kind of Force-sensitive children, or whatever the heck it's going to be. A coming-of-age kind of 80s film. Like, I don't know, man. Imagine Grogu goes back to Luke Skywalker, and he has a group of 4 other Jedi friends, Ben Solo maybe included. Like, that would be so cool, man. And while I kind of want Grogu to stay with the Mandalorian franchise and whatnot, it's cool if they kind of toss him around in shows and stuff. Like, I'm down for all that kind of thing. I don't know. The possibilities with this Grammar Rodeo show really sparked some stuff with me. I think it's really exciting. Who knows? Maybe it's even something like the Vespa gang of the Book of Boba Fett. Either way, I'm excited to see what it is, and hopefully we'll get some sort of an announcement for it at Star Wars Celebration in just 9 days. Padawannabe says, hey, did we see the Academy shirt that looked like Ahsoka's face symbols with saber in the middle? That is true, and that's what I was thinking about the Padawannabe. Maybe that is kind of what we're gearing towards. Yeah, bring us the Bad Batch already. Darth Maximus, we're definitely getting some information for the Bad Batch. Not this Sunday, but the one after at Star Wars Celebration. I can't wait for it, man. I really cannot wait for it. And real quick, before we head on into the movie aspect of Star Wars, back to the Tales of the Jedi thing. It does. At one point, Matt Lancer, who plays the voice of Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars, The Clone Wars, had teased that he was working on something at Lucasfilm or within Star Wars on the animated side, like a secret animated project. And then the Kiner brothers on the Combor Call YouTube podcast, or on the Combor Call, go check them out on YouTube. Recently, they basically said that they were working on a secret project, gave a little bit of information on it, and it seems as though it's possible the project Matt Lancer and the Kiner brothers were working on could be this Tales of the Jedi project that we're for sure going to have an announcement for at Star Wars Celebration, which super exciting stuff. I think even Sunday morning there's going to be a breakfast Q&A things that you can purchase with Ashley Eckstein and Matt Lancer, who, of course, those are the voices of Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano. So that goes on sale, I think, 12 noon tomorrow Pacific time. Crossing my fingers. I would love to have breakfast with Ashley and Matt Lancer. I don't know how much that costs, but do it. Wasn't there an a mall animated series that was close to getting greenlit? I think there was rumors about that at one point, Kid Chaos, and maybe that is just something that's a part of the Tales of the Jedi. Like, I think it's possible the Tales of the Jedi show, or whatever that might end up being, might literally be Tales of the Jedi. It might be different tales of different Force wielders and Jedi people during different times. Maybe we get an episode of Ezra Bridger, an episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Anakin Skywalker, because Matt Lancer is gonna be a part of it most likely. Maybe we get an episode of Cal Kestis, bringing Cal Kestis into animation. Like I said, he was recently brought into some of the books, so who knows, man? I would love to see stuff like that. The Jedi Fallen Order 2 sequel got a name recently, and I meant to talk about that in the stream, and I will talk about it right here real quick, because it is a quick little thing. But yeah, the Jedi Fallen Order sequel name was officially revealed, or not really officially revealed. That'll probably happen at Celebration. But it did get revealed. It's supposed to be Star Wars Jedi Survivor, continuing with the Jedi kind of franchise here, as they're making the Jedi games a franchise. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. And I think Survivor is a perfect name for this game, because I haven't touched on it yet, but perfect name, man. Cal Kestis is constantly having to do that. He's a survivor. Survived the Jedi Purge, survived getting hunted down by Inquisitors. Heck, he took the Inquisitors head on at the planet of Nur, their fortress Inquisitorius, and survived. Heck, his friend that he picked up along the way, Sir Junda, survivor. The Night Sister, Marin, that they picked up in the story as well. Survivor of the last survivor of her people. I mean, it's a perfect name, man. I cannot wait for this game to eventually come out. I think it's supposed to come out next year, but definitely some dope news within that, and the fact that we got a name for this sequel game. Super excited for it. Definitely going to be playing through it on the channel when it does come out. Hey, Smith Family TV, it's good to see you in the chat, my guy. Padawannabe says Tales of the Jedi immediately makes me think of EU novel Tales of Mos Eisley Cantina, a group of stories from different people. Exactly. I think hopefully that's something we're kind of gonna get. It would be really cool. Just Kanan, Ezra, different time periods, different stories about them. Give us Anakin. Just do it. Heck, Ahsoka. Plot twist. It's about Sith and how they're going to survive the Jedi. Tales of the Sith. They should do that. So, the movie future of Star Wars. We have a roadmap, Kennedy says. Although Lucasfilm's big screen return is unlikely to follow the same relentless cadence as before, a movie from Jojo Rabbit's Taika Waititi in 1917, screenwriter Christy Wilson Cairns will likely arrive first. Okay, so the Taika Waititi movie is likely going to be the first Star Wars movie that we get in terms of new Star Wars movies. Previously, Rogue Squadron, which was going to be directed and kind of run by Patty Jenkins, was going to be in 2023, and that was going to be the first Star Wars movie we had gotten since the sequel trilogy. However, now we're learning that Taika Waititi's movie is going to be the next one that we get. Originally, that was going to be set for a 2025 release date, or at least it was rumored to be that. And the Kevin Feige movie was rumored to be in 2027. But it's possible with all of this kind of happening that it could change the schedule a little bit. So it says, with Rogue Squadron from Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins further off, it is true that Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige will produce a Star Wars... Oh, is it true that Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige will produce a Star Wars film? I would love to see what movie he might come up with, Kathleen Kennedy says. But right now, no, there isn't anything specifically. And the trilogy from The Last Jedi's Rian Johnson that was announced 5 years ago, backburned. Rian has been unbelievably busy with Knives Out and the deal that he made with Netflix for multiple movies. The emphasis on television is already influenced in the upcoming film slate. I hesitate to use the word trilogies anymore because Star Wars is much more about persistent storytelling, Kathleen says. Now she just needs to recruit future filmmakers. And it's true, man. Star Wars does better with a persistent type of storytelling, and I like that she had put it that way. But interesting stuff to unpack from that right there. So the Kevin Feige produced movie, she says, I would love to see what movie he might come up with, but right now, no, there isn't anything specifically, which is interesting. Maybe, a couple weeks ago with the release of Doctor Strange, Michael Waldron, who was the rumored writer for this Kevin Feige produced movie, was also the writer for that movie, and he had said that he was working on the Star Wars script, basically, or he was working on writing on it, basically. He was writing the script for it, and it was hilarious to me because I covered it within the last week or two, and I had said at the time it almost sounded like he was being sarcastic. Waldron was basically they were asking him is Loki season 2 gonna be coming? Are you really working on Star Wars? I asked him all this stuff, and he's like, oh yeah, well, I'm too busy to be working on Loki season 2 because I'm currently writing for Star Wars, kind of thing. So I don't know. Like, I really don't know what's going on with this situation. I'm crossing my fingers that there is a Kevin Feige produced movie, because even in this article, they asked the question. I don't feel like there's a for sure answer. Like, Kathleen Kennedy maybe is just being kind of dodgy, and of course she would be, but you know, I would love to see what movie he has to come up with, but right now, no, there isn't anything specifically. Maybe she just doesn't know what the story is because Michael Waldron's writing it right now. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to think, but I'm really hopeful. I'm a big Marvel fan. I'm a big even bigger Star Wars fan. So the fact that we could have Kathleen Kennedy, or you know, just bringing Kevin Feige to produce a Star Wars movie, I love that, because in my opinion, if there's any producer that might be even better than Kathleen, it's Kevin Feige. Taika's movie never had an official release date, but they have 3 release dates for Star Wars. One for 2023, one for 2025, and one for 2027. And they also kind of coincide with Avatar having an Avatar 1, 2, or Avatar 3 kind of going separate years. So Avatar, Star Wars. Avatar, Star Wars. Avatar, Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? And then Tim says, and Patty's got announced for 2023. It did. And it seems like Taika's is coming first now. So maybe Taika's movie ends up being in 2023. I don't know if I'll have enough time for it. But if they can pull that off, if Taika can get his movie done by 2023, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And 2027's is for sure going to be Kevin Feige. It's just too far out and probably a new era. So they probably don't want to talk about it yet. Facts. That's what I think too, Tim. And I'm with you. Matthew Cruz says Mace Windu leaked to be in Kenobi finale. Mike Zero with the scoop. Bruh. Oh, finally we're coming to the end of this article. Much love, Tim. I know you were trying to make great minds think alike, my guy. Great minds think alike. So it doesn't seem like Rian Johnson's movie trilogy of movies is coming anytime soon either, but the fact that they're still talking about keeping it alive and whatnot, it's possibly going to happen, or at least a Rian Johnson movie could happen again. Maybe even just bringing him in to direct an episode of The Mandalorian or something. And honestly, by the time it happens, I'll definitely be having open arms and letting Rian trying to take another go at it. I'm down for it, you know. I'll probably be open to it at that point. So to finish off the article, it says on March 19th, Kennedy and Lucas received a milestone award from the Producers Guild of America, and something happened to her while watching the video montage. The clips of the pair over the decade include a shirtless Lucas and a squat gun battle with Steven Spielberg, and Kennedy and Lucas joking around and a production disrupting downpour. What I was so taken with is how much fun we were having, she says. It amounted to this moment of realization. I do think a little bit of fun has gone out of making these gigantic movies. The business, the stakes, everything that has been infused in the last 10 years or so. There's kind of a spontaneous, I don't know which that word is. Spontaneity and good time that we had to be careful to preserve. Okay, to keep that, like, the good time and having it being spontaneous, they want to be able to preserve that. I keep holding on to it. It better be fun, she said. And then after more than 50 years with Lucasfilm navigating a new path, that's a good and lodestar to say it. This article, man, props to them, because it was a good long article, but what are these words? Great article though. Let me know what you guys thought of all of this news. What excited you the most from this Vanity Fair article? Spawn 10A Etsy. Spontaneity. Gotcha. Thank you, Steve. Man. Spontaneity. Spontaneity. That's what it is. Spontaneity. Alright. If it's true, I'm going to say Mike Zero was right. Never has those words ever been uttered in the history of words. Steve Storinka says, this writer writing a grade 28 level Bro, I mean, you guys can see the words on the screen, right? I'm not tripping. I'm not joking here. These words are too much for me. But what was your favorite guys? What was your guys' favorite part of this article? Personally, the Grammar Rodeo thing got me super excited for what we could eventually see with that show. And of course, throughout the entire article, it's just super exciting to get just a tidbit of what we might get 9 days from now at Star Wars Celebration, and being just 10 days away from Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi having its first 2 episodes air, man. I cannot freaking wait. I can't wait. Looking forward to the Grammar Rodeo Project. Darth Maximus. Me too. Tim says uses all the words but can't spell Jedi. He spelled it Jedis. And no apostrophe either. It was Jedis. With the S. It's Jedi, my guy. That's the plural. Grammar Rodeo. Yeah, I think that's my most hyped one. Bring back Mace and let him fight Vader. I'm down. I want Mace to fight Boba if he comes back, but even then, I don't think they'll bring him back. Talented Mr. Griffin says, watch party. We have some more Clone Wars to get to. We probably will pick that up. I might end up, it's already 7 o'clock here my time. It's probably it's 10 o'clock on the East Coast. We'll probably start that watch party up here in a minute, but I need some food. But I'm down. We can probably watch at least an arc, if not, eventually finish off season 6 tonight. I think we're gonna do a Clone Wars rewatch tonight, though. So if you guys want to hang out with us in a little bit, I'll get that prepped up. I think he's talking about Kenobi. Acolyte has the most potential in my opinion. Hey, Kid Chaos, I love seeing that. That's actually really interesting to me. You know, I did not know for sure if it was going to be set in the time period it is. I almost thought it was going to be set 300 years before Phantom Menace. I think I heard that at one point, but 100 years before the Phantom Menace, that's a game changer, man. And I definitely agree with you. It has a whole bunch of potential. Being one of the first dark side kind of characters or dark side kind of shows that we've gotten to, I'm super excited for the Acolyte when it comes, man. I'm super excited for that. Yeah, I was talking. Oh, you were talking about Kenobi. Yeah. Oh, definitely. Dirty Nap. It's good to see you, my guy. But yeah, we're definitely gonna be doing a watch party for Kenobi. So personally, I'm still speculative that it's possible the first 2 episodes, or at least the first episode of Kenobi, could be aired Thursday, the first day of Star Wars Celebration, which is 9 days away. And remember, Kenobi comes out in 10 days. So I might end up even seeing the episode before you guys. And I might be staying in a hotel, which I don't know for sure yet. But if I do, best believe no matter what, we're making that watch party happen at 12 midnight. We're doing it. We're definitely going to be watching the first 2 episodes of Kenobi together when they release. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, man. 50 subscribers most likely away, maybe 51 still, from 1,000 subscribers being monetized on YouTube. So subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends. I appreciate it. Dirty Nap, good to see you though. He says, "She, long time no talk, buddy. How you been?" I've been solid, man. Keeping busy with work. I've been getting into 3D printing. It's been a good time. Kid Chaos says 3 a.m. in Ireland, bro. Good night, guys. Hey, get some rest, my dude. Thank you for being in the chat, Kid Chaos. Much love to you, my dude. I gotta go to Ireland one day. I have a little bit of Irish in me. I wanna go. Hope you have a good night, though. Thank you for being here, Kid Chaos. Hey, Kendall, aka the Sensi. It's good to see you, normies to nerds. What's good with you, my guy? Just getting through some of this dope Star Wars nerd news. You know what I mean? I hope you're doing well. Mashed. Hey, I appreciate you, Matthew Cruz. I wish Pedro kept the helmet on during the photo shoot. Like, come on, mister, this is the way. Well, he's already broken the way multiple times before. I mean, he's an apostate at this point. Just give us the Sith Wars, please. Dude, I was thinking about that recently, like the past 2 or 3 days. They should just give us a show on Tar Vizsla during the Mandalorian Wars and him kind of creating the Darksaber. Dude, how cool would a show on Tar Vizsla be? Come on, people. It writes itself. Do it. But yeah, dude, Sith Wars, going back to maybe Taika's movie will even do, you know, the Jedi, the first people that taught the Jedi that became the Jedi Order. I don't know, man. I would love to do all sorts of stuff. I feel like we're so secluded in Star Wars with just this little era of time that we've kind of explored. Give us a different period, man. I want to explore. Do it. Do it. I definitely agree, though. The little video of photo shoot. Yeah, I should pull that up. Think I can pull that up. You can kind of play it in the background here. Oh, that's too big. Oh, there's ads. Oh no. I don't think we should do that. Just kidding. Actually, let me see if I can friggin' ads. It'll be over in a second. Free airtime. Come on, I want to see the friggin' video. Oh, I don't know if I saw this one. What is this? Is this the same one? Oh, there's audio. All right, hold on. I'm gonna get the audio for you guys. This is dope. Let me see if I can pull it up. And then we'll probably get out of here after this and set up a Clone Wars rewatch party if you guys are interested in finishing off season 6, or at least getting close to the end of season 6 if we don't finish it. Yeah, come on by though. Let's do this. There we go. All right. Play. Wait, what happened? I'm confused. Why didn't it work? Darn you, you must work. Weird. Worked on you. Why doesn't my computer do anything? I don't know, but you guys can see it there at the least. I don't know why my audio is not working. It's rough out here. Down for that, you bet. I think it is the same one, but I don't know. Maybe it's not. You'll just have to do all the voices. Well, now I took off the voices for myself too. I can't even hear it now. Is it the same one? I can't remember. I watched it pretty early this morning when I did watch that that clip. Now I can't hear nothing. What did I do? What did I do? Still going? Yeah, we're almost out of here. Mon Mothma does look good though. You know what I mean? I don't know if this was the same thing on YouTube though. That's pretty dope. It was definitely good to see. I'm sorry I couldn't get the audio working there, but thank you guys for being here. It has been an awesome time. We're almost at 2 hours. There was a lot to unpack from this article. I probably didn't unpack it all perfectly. But I hope you guys enjoyed this awesome Star Wars news today. I cannot wait for 10 days from now when the Obi-Wan Kenobi series officially airs its first 2 episodes. Make sure to subscribe to Vader's Lair. We're going to be covering Star Wars Celebration in 9 days' time. Your boy is going for all 4 days. I even have some extra tickets right now that I'm currently trying to sell, but if anybody in the fandom is in the LA area, come day of, I might just give them away. We'll see. I really don't want to give too many hopes up, but I have tickets for Thursday, Friday, and Sunday because Saturday sold out instantly. But I'm super hyped. It's an awesome time to be a Star Wars fan. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Make sure to check out our Star Wars Clone Wars chronological watch party that we're going to be doing here in a little bit. thank you all for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your night. May the Force be with you all. Peace. Sponsored by CoverGirl.